Hello everyone, welcome to SwitchUp. I hope you are all doing okay, and today we're going to look at some of the games coming out for this next week on the Nintendo Switch. After the surprise Nintendo Direct and a couple of stealth drops straight after, we've got a relatively quiet week coming up with a couple of noticeable releases, and most of these games have been released elsewhere before. So with all that said, let's get into the list. First up, releasing on the 31st of March and probably the most noticeable release of the week, we have Zombie Army Trilogy, which came out back in 2015 elsewhere. This is from Rebellion, who already have a few games out on the Switch, including a couple of the Sniper Elite games and the underrated Rogue Trooper. Zombie Army Trilogy is a spin-off of the Sniper Elite games, set in an alternate World War II, where you must take down a horde of zombies in a third-person shooter, which can be played in multiplayer via both local wireless and online with up to 4 players. I played this game a few years ago on the PlayStation 4 and definitely enjoyed it, and with a 15% pre-order discount, it's not the worst deal in the world, but of course it can be found for cheaper, much cheaper, elsewhere. Next then, we have a game that actually came out in the EU and the UK quite a while ago now, about 6 months ago, and it's just about to come out in America, and this is Bobble for Friends. Now this is of course a new release in the long running and very well loved Bobble series, and as the title suggests, can be played with up to 4 players locally. Now I've actually already reviewed this one, as I say it came out a while ago in other regions, and whilst it still has that classic formula, I did find that it's perhaps a bit easier than the previous entries, and the price it's going for, €39.99, is just too high. Now it does have a physical release, and if you can find it for cheap enough, it's still fun, but this is one that I would be waiting for a price drop on for sure. I'll put a link to my review in the top pinned comment if you want to have a look. Next then, we have a game called The Complex, which comes from Wales Interactive, who are known for putting FMV type games on the Switch, such as Late Shift and The Bunker. This one tells the tale of 2 scientists who find themselves locked into their laboratory after a biological weapon attack, with time and air running out. It's an interactive movie where the conversations you have with other people and the decisions you make will affect the story, and there are up to 8 endings available. I watched the trailer of this one the other day, and actually it looks pretty decent. The acting was of a good standard, and it looks like it tells a good story. It has a 10% discount in the UK and EU, although not in America, and it could be right up your alley if you're looking for a sci-fi thriller.
We can't risk a bug getting into the city. Help me! Time is running out.
A big thanks to Raid Shadow of Legends, who have sponsored this episode of our sales series, so thanks to those guys, particularly at the moment because times are pretty tough. If you don't know what that is, it is a turn-based RPG that you can play on any of your devices. There is a fully fledged story here that you can play through, so it's not just you go into the game and you just grind over and over and over again. There is a bit of grinding, it kind of comes with the RPG territory. Personally, I've been able to just play through pretty chill as and when, and I've gradually managed to build up a pretty decent lineup. I've got this little guy here, is like a dog character. It follows a very similar formula that you'd be used to from a lot of turn-based strategy games. Click the link down in the description. Whatever mobile device you've got, it will take you directly to the correct app store for you, and you can download it. If you don't like it, well, you know what to do. All that's left to be said is enjoy the video.
Next we have a game called Operencia, I believe it's a soft C, The Stolen Sun, which comes from Zen Studios, probably best known for their pinball tables, and describes itself as a modernised first-person dungeon crawling RPG. It's said to take everything you love about the dungeon crawlers of old and mixes it with modern sensibilities, as it says on the eShop, and it's based around, or inspired by at least, Central European mythology. It's created using the Unreal Engine 4 and has been on PC before this, and comes in at £26.99 or your regional equivalent, which for me puts it out of the reach of impulse buy. Still, if you like first-person dungeon crawlers, it may be one to keep half an eye on. Into April now, and releasing on the 1st, published by Tiny Build Games, we have Totally Reliable Delivery Service. This is a physics-based sandbox game where you have to make deliveries of certain items and can be played locally with 1 to 2 players or online with 1 to 4. Again, watching the trailer, it looks very much like Human Fall Flat, of course a game already on the Switch, both in terms of the physics-based nature, but also the little podgy plasticine people. This looks like it could be a good laugh with a few people playing, and if it's half as fun as Human Fall Flat, it will do well, I'm sure. Coming out on the 2nd of April, we have Maz M, Jekyll and Hyde. This is part of a visual storytelling series that's available on Android and iOS. I believe this is the 2nd instalment and is based on the novel The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson. It takes you back to 19th century London, where you will see the story through the eyes of a lawyer named Mr. Utterson. You'll need to travel the streets of London looking for clues to try and solve a mystery, and the game promises a dark and heavy atmosphere which creates a sense of the eerie and the macabre. And if you like the idea of classic literature being brought to life via a video game, plus it has 20% off its launch price until the 15th of April, then it could well be worth a look. Next then, another one that's been out elsewhere before. I think this one's been on Steam for a while. It's a game called Curious Expedition. As I said, most of the games releasing this week have been out on other platforms before, although I don't play games on Steam, so I don't know anything about this one at all. It promises to take you back to the 19th century, where you would take on the role of famous historical personalities, venturing forth on expeditions in what is called a roguelike expedition simulation. From the screenshots, it seems to mix a number of genres with what looks like point and click and top-down strategy at times as well. There even looks to potentially be some dice-based combat there too. If you've played this game before or know anything about it, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts in the comments below, because I'm very intrigued by this one and would like to know if it's worth a pickup. Another one that's out on Steam then, this is Snaky Bus, which comes out on the 2nd of April and is priced at £10.79 or €11.99. From what I've read, this is an arcade-based game where you must try to navigate a large bus around various streets, picking up customers and dropping them off for a higher score, at the same time making your bus that bit longer. Sounds like a bit of a mix of Crazy Taxi and Cluster Truck in some respects, but again, I haven't played it, so perhaps you could let me know if it's any good. It certainly sounds fun, and I can see as an arcade experience it being a good laugh, and it has very good scores on Steam as well. The penultimate game for the week then is a game called Junk Jack, which for my money looks very similar to Terraria. It describes itself as a relaxing 2D sandbox where you can explore, build and survive in randomly generated procedural worlds, full of monsters and hidden treasures. There are 12 different planets which you can use portals to get between, hundreds of different items to equip, each with their own unique stats, and a creative mode where you can build anything you like. This one comes in at £13.49. I couldn't actually find it on the American store at the time of this recording. It may be on there by the time this video releases, or if not, sometimes release dates between regions are off by a week or two, so it may come out just later. The final game I'm going to highlight for this week then, coming out on the 3rd of April, is a game called In Other Waters, which I must say looks incredibly unique. You play as an artificial intelligence guiding a stranded xenobiologist through a beautiful and mysterious alien ocean. It says it tells a non-violent sci-fi story where you must discover the history and ecology of an unknown planet. You will be exploring an expansive sea floor, unlocking upgrades and making discoveries which will then in turn open new paths so you can access new environments. You'll be planning out your dives, collecting samples and studying them in your lab. I don't know how all of this would work in practice, but it's definitely one of the most intriguing games releasing this week, and as I said, it comes out on the 3rd. So there you have it then, 10 games from this week. Please do let us know if there's any of these games you'll be picking up, or any of the other games releasing of course this week as well. A quick thank you to our Patreons as always for your continued support, and to each and every one of you for watching our videos. Wherever you are at the minute, please do stay safe, take care, and until next time, happy gaming.
Once again, a big thanks to Raid Shadow of Legends. If you want to download that game, click the link down in the description or in the top comment and it will take you right there. Thanks for all the support you guys give us, and we hope you're all well. See ya!